Hey, what's going on? What's going on, everybody? Tonight we're gonna have some organic conversations with OT. You know who I am. OT from cruise season, part of cruise season with the gang, repping the gang. Um, yeah, I just want to spark some organic conversations tonight, man. It ain't necessarily nothing related to relationships, and ain't got to be that. It could be some, we can chop it up about some sports. I'd love to talk about some sports and how maybe some of your fellas y'all doing in y'all drafts, how y'all looking this season, football, basketball, whatever it is. Kenny, be quiet. But yeah, man, anything and everything, man. I'm here tonight. We're just gonna chop it up for a minute. I'm not gonna have a set night just yet, but we definitely gonna get this thing rocking several times a week, at least once a week. But I would like to have it several times a month, I want to say. But so yeah, man. What's been going on with y'all? Hey, all right, Kitty. All right, Kitty. Don't start that. And first off, how about this? Let's discuss this, KT, Kenny T, while you in here. So my point was from the post earlier. My point was if there's a specific type of ring, somebody had a good example in the comments, and I appreciated that. But that's kind of what I was getting to. But they be trying to double team me, get me flustered. They be trying to get me off my game when I'm making a good point. What I was saying was, for example, if your woman says, I want an emerald shaped ring, you can't go get her an oval or a round shape. Your woman said she didn't want that. She want an emerald shaped ring, whatever it is. But hey, here you go. It's all good though. It's all good though. I take that. I take that because I use money as an example. I should have used the shape or something like that at a different angle. My point was, if your woman want a certain style of ring, you have to get that. Yes, you ain't got to spend 10 bands. However, if it's a certain style of ring, you got to get that. You can't go against the grain and not get that. But hey, it's all good. It's all good. I'm gonna get another one. I'm gonna get another one. Don't worry. But yeah, make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all subscribe. Make sure y'all share the page. What's good? What's good? Hit the like button and hit the share. Ain't no topic, Nurse Mo. Again, it's just an organic conversation, so we're gonna go where the conversation takes us. Like I said, it could be about sports, it could be about relationships. Um, you know, my opinions on anything. Just shoot it my way. Lex says, "What are some signs a man is insecure in a relationship?" What do y'all think some signs are if he's insecure in a relationship? Um, Insecure in a relationship, I would say he's always checking in on you to see where you are. He may constantly accuse you of lying. Um, just the constant nag, the constant, what you doing, where you at, who you with, why you lying to me, always trying to catch you in action, popping up somewhere. He acting like he's scaring you when really he's been spying on you this whole time. You think it's a game, but he really crazy. Those are some jealous things. Sometimes too, a man can be jealous when you're out of his league. Um, you could be, you may not have to be the most attractive looking man to him. However, you can have a great personality, you have a great head on your shoulders, you can have a great job, and he take advantage of all that stuff. So he can be um, insecure for many reasons. I actually do open up to my woman. Thank you very much. Um, and actually, Kenny, thank you for that. That's a good lie. Um, I will say with me, my 1 year is actually coming up this weekend. Um, but with me, what up, JC? With me just getting married, um, like they say, like it don't necessarily things don't necessarily change. However, it's that staple and that coverage that make it final. Like, hey, I'm not going nowhere. I'm choosing to be with you. I don't want to go anywhere else. I don't see myself with nobody else. So that's why I'm making the decision that I'm making, because I see that my future, is with you. And I'm not gonna say it don't have its growing pains. Um, it definitely can get tough. I see myself or think of myself as somebody who is very patient, very understanding, um, very open, and just being in my relationship, it honestly kind of held a mirror to me and was like, "You're not as open as you think you are. You're not as patient as you think you are. You're not as calm as you may think you are all the time." So that's definitely opened my eyes a little bit more for sure. And a lot of times it's just how you guys communicate. Definitely, I would share one thing, like between me and my wife. What's up, boo? Is that we just have two different styles of communication, and so I'm approaching it from one angle, she's approaching it from one angle, and we both passionate about it. And I'm telling her I'm listening, she's telling me she's listening, and so I'm like, well, if we listening, what? Why we going? Why we saying this? Why we saying that? And it'll just be, sometimes it just sounds like confusion. So there are times where it may take the conversation to happen like two or three times, because I may need to take a step back and just revisit how I, present my message, or maybe my tone wasn't right that day. Maybe, I had a long day at work and I thought that I wasn't bringing that home, but maybe, I was. So it's just certain things you got to check in within yourself and realize and communicate. But definitely it's not easy. I definitely would say that, but I wouldn't do it with nobody else. The patience and love that it takes with just certain topics, or just conversations in general, you can't have that with everybody. It's only with people you love. It's like family. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's certain type of debates or things you could talk about, make fun of. You can only do that with your family. So that's how I see my baby. That's my everything. So and I got to be patient. I'm getting better at communicating. I thought I was a great communicator. Evidently, that needs work too. So, but she also reminds me, like, you're not doing a bad job. This is just how I like it. You know what I'm saying? So that was a real big thing for me, because I feel like checking all the boxes that I need to, and I'm trying to go above and beyond to make sure that you ain't got, hey, I'm making sure I do. You ask me to do 10 out of 10, I'm doing 15 out of 10, because I want to make sure that not only am I doing everything that is required of me, but I'm even doing more. Because most niggas wouldn't even do five, and I'm doing 15. So I had to take a step back and realize, one, you don't know everything. Two, you're not doing everything right, because clearly she's bringing the things that she would like to see. So that's definitely one of the things I'm learning is just, catering to her style. And I've been doing it, but obviously not as much as I should have or should be doing. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's just, but this is also why I feel like I'm not hard to just have conversations with, because at the end of the day, I get it and I don't mind apologizing. But then it's those other times where, if I feel like I'm right, I'm gonna drive my point home. I'm gonna make sure you hear me. I may have to say it 10 times. You may have said something 10 times, but I'm like, so it's just that, man. And but I think that's a part of like a lot of relationships. It ain't never like disrespectful, you know. Again, I think it just goes back to passion, because she loves me so much, I care about her so much. So, we good. If I had any advice to give to like a youngin, it would just be pick somebody that you feel is worth it. Like that's really worth it. If I can't sit here and look at you and be upset at you, but then love you and want to be up on you at the same time, but you just get on my nerves. But come here, shoot, put your leg on me. You know what I'm saying? It's things like that. That's what you kind of want that vibe to be. It ain't like you get on my nerves and I don't want to be around you and I gotta leave for the night. I want to leave for a whole weekend because you wilding or I'm wilding. You know, um, that ain't nothing. Physical stuff, nope, not doing it. Calling me out my name, nope, not doing it. You got to have your non-negotiables and stand on that early. I'm talking to the fellas, ladies. This ain't for you right now. I'm talking to the fellas that's in this chat because, like we were just talking about earlier, a lot of men we kind of teach the women what to put up with and what to deal with. And so we have to speak up and just shut everything down. Not saying you got to be in a rude way, but still with in a loving way too. That's one thing. Another thing that I had to learn is sometimes my method of communication. I'm in one instance I'm trying to be firm, but I don't want to be coming across as I'm being too soft. So it's like, how do you get that balance? Because just naturally, you, especially as a man, your voice may carry a little bit more. You have a little deeper tone, and so when you say something to her, it seems like it's like almost like in a threatening tone, but to you, it's dang near normal. You just raised it one notch. You know what I mean? So um, it just takes constant communication. It takes constant work. It's always gonna be something new, always. So but of course, after extended period of time, then you get more into a rhythm. But me and my wife, we're a year in. We make a year on Sunday. So shout out to everybody that's either recently married or getting ready to be engaged, anything like that. Shout out to all the ones that's been working with each other for a minute. That takes work, that takes patience. And that should also serve as a testimony too. Like we should definitely be watching and taking notes from people that's been in successful relationships, people that are able to send their kids to school and then those kids become successful. Like that's some of the dopest stories to hear. Like the parents, maybe if they went to college or maybe the wife went to school, but the dad was, he went to a trade and had to get money for the family and they did their thing, got the house, had kids go to college, kids become successful, kids put you in the big house, like all that stuff be dope. But kind of use Kenny question to get my own question, but that's how you do organic conversations. That's what we doing. Can y'all hear me good though? Kiana, what's up? What's up? She said, what should you do when you love someone, but they are not motivated and you have been married for 10 years? Wow. What should you do when you love someone, but they are not motivated and you've been married for 10 years? Well, one thing I would say is clearly that person has been that way for a minute. So you can do one or two things. Like it's either continue to put up with it or have a conversation and be like, hey, this is how I feel. This is what I'm thinking. This is what I need from you. This is what I expect from you. But you've let it linger and put that expectation up for so long. I mean, that's 10 years. That's a long time. So you got to think about that too. And love don't mean nothing, but if they're not motivated, I mean, then I guess it would depend on what areas too. Is it he just at the same job and not trying to change, or not trying to move up, or he just no have no ambition? Like when you say like by not motivated, I would also want to know like in what areas too, because it's a whole bunch of areas. Yee, y'all know what it is. Yeah, Larry June. Shout out to Larry June. What's up, JC? Uh, Now it was just jokes for y'all that seen the pod. It's all love for my dog JC. All love, all love, all love. I just have a real strong bias for Larry June. That's it. You ain't do nothing wrong. I don't look at you any less. I just want to talk noise just for a quick second. That was it. All right. Stephanie Daniel said, why do men leave bookmarks, but when you tell him to take their belongings with them, they ignore you. But when you leave them and you stand on it this time, they become stalkerish. Leave bookmarks. Why do men leave bookmarks? But then when you tell them to take their belongings, with them they ignore you. When you leave them, you stand on them. Oh, you got to write there. You got to rewrite that question again for me. For a boyfriend who lives about 4 hours away, how often would you say he would want to visit or should? Oh, bet. Look, let me tell you something. This is me and my wife right here. 4 hours away. We was exactly 4 hours away. I'm in Houston, she in Dallas. Um, and we basically saw each other twice a month if we could. It was a bonus if we saw each other more than that, but it was at least every other week, um, on the weekend, and most times it was like a Friday to Sun, Friday to Monday or late Sunday night. You know what I'm saying? We tried to maximize all the days that we could. I think at the time, her schedule was like a Friday, Saturday, or something like that. I remember. So it wasn't nothing for her to come on like late Thursday night or early Friday morning, and then she may like call in sick on Sunday and then go back Monday morning, something like that. So me and my wife met during the pandemic, and at that time I was just training, and I had boot camps at different locations. I was training at my apartment complex, so that's how I was doing my 1-2, for a little bit. And so, oh shit, I honestly told her too. I was like, man, look, I ain't trying to date right now. This pandemic, I didn't lost my job. I'm trying to figure my stuff out right now. I mean, I'm like, I don't know if I could do it. I wasn't trying to do it, honestly. I wasn't looking to do it. But things just kind of progressed over time. Um, she was actually my client for quite a bit, for like 6 months. But that kind of got us closer when just through that process. So um man, it was real interesting. Like I said, 4 hours away. That wasn't nothing for us. A couple times we linked up in Austin, which is like 3 hours from Dallas, two and a half for me. So, we tried to get creative as we could. Even if it was like one night, somebody had to do a turnaround. Um, One time I had some business in Dallas, so I ran out there, made sure I spent time with her, and still took care of my business too. So, man, yeah, it can work. It can work. Honestly, I was against it for the longest, and it's hard. But I think that too has helped my relationship, has been the fact that we were long distance for a minute. So those real conversations, because I can't see you every day, those real conversations had to be had. Otherwise, it was gonna be boring. We're not spending no time on the phone. We're not kicking it. We're not doing nothing like that. I'm seeing you once every other week, maybe. Because it wasn't just consistent. It was hit or miss. I think the longest we might have went was like almost 2 months. It was like real close. It was like 7 weeks or something like that. But the only reason why we let it go that long, I think because we had a birthday trip planned. That was our birthday, but we was out there for my birthday. Um, that was probably the only time that we was like didn't see each other for a good minute. So yeah, to each his man. Look, Aunt B Trill, he gonna tell y'all no. 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I would have told y'all hell no. But now it's a, different perspective, different lens. You know what I mean? Complete different lens. I didn't think that it would have been possible, honestly. But again, it was just the constant communication that we had, the conversations, um, and just when we hung out, just how it felt. It just felt right. So I don't know, man. Hey, don't knock it till you try it. That's all I'm gonna say. It just gotta be someone that's equally as invested. I know it's hard. Which another thing was the crazy part is I ain't trying to be spiritual or nothing like that, but I'm just want to let y'all understand this too. So I don't know if y'all remember, but it was on the pod because this is documented on the pod just before I had met my wife. Kenny and I would talk about being celibate for a minute. I don't know if y'all remember that, but it was a minute where I said, "Oh shit, I'm chilling, I'm working, I'm trying to get myself together." That's what I had to focus on, and lo and behold, I felt like it was kind of prepping for that because urges and things like that. Like if you single, it's like, okay, hey, what you doing tonight? Okay, I'm bored. Hey, what you doing tonight? Let's go kick it. Hey, what you doing? You trying to come over? Let's hang out real quick. It's like, it's stuff like that. So you gotta know how to eventually shut all that off and, be ready for a relationship. So yeah, look, before my relationship, that's honestly something that I had already had in my tool bag. And so just exercising that, um in real time, it was easy. It was easy. Okay, I'm gonna see you in a couple weeks. It wasn't that I wanted to, you know what I mean? Like we definitely had conversations about that. She was asking like, how do I do it? How do I manage? And so I was letting her know that's you know, shit. Mm, when you have lived life a little bit, I'll leave it at that. Like it's all the same. So fellas, don't put it first. Go chase your money. Go chase that passion. Go chase that dream. I'm not saying it got to be sports. If you doing gaming online, streaming, like that's kind of what the kids are doing today. School, if you got a trade, and I understand you want to get money, especially coming out of school is young, everything high right now. You want to get married, but understand that you gotta have a job to even date in the first place for somebody. I understand it's hard, especially as a young man. I definitely understand it's hard. Ladies, when y'all young, please take it easy on these men a little bit, just a little bit. Okay. Y'all are 20, 21, 22. You're not gonna have everything figured out. You're not gonna have all the money in the world. So please give these men some patience as they figure themselves out because y'all too are also figuring yourselves out. Y'all let Jerome Rome with no car put y'all through the headboard several times a week. This man over here trying to be a wholesome man, he take you on a date, you hanging out with Jerome Rome. I'm just saying. Just take it easy on my fellas. So, Becca, I hope that helped. It's definitely possible. Um, Again, I wouldn't trade it for the world. And I know people that are currently married that also did long distance for a little bit. I only went 2 years. Mine was 2 years. She was boom, moved to here. Within the year, boom, got engaged. Next year, boom, married. So, oh well, actually, we wasn't engaged, but we engaged about 4 months, 5 months. I knew I wanted to get married to her, and I told her that. Like, yeah, I kind of, we kind of did it backwards. Mine was kind of backwards. It was very unnatural, just how I like it. Very organic. My situation was very organic, just like I like it. Um, we both knew we wanted to get married. You know what I'm saying? The conversation had been had so many times. So at that point, I'm like, we know we want to get married. Why well, just book it. What's up? And I guess I could tell that story right now, real quick. But hold on, real quick. Intermission. Just quick intermission. Shout out to the beatbox. Shout out to the plug. This right here, this flavor is brought to you by Tropical Punch. Beatbox Tropical Punch. That's the flavor of the night. But for those of you who don't know, because I don't, we on the pod, we get to talk about the pod stuff. You know what I mean? But I want to give y'all a little backstory and just, you know, so y'all know other parts of OT because I am simply complicated. That's the best way I can put it. Oxymoron, I know. But that's like me. You know what I'm saying? I'm simple, but it's like many facets about my simplicity. And I don't know, I'm just an interesting individual. But anyway, so the wedding was supposed to be very, very small. The conversation started out, I was like, look, babe, Vegas our spot. We love having a good time in Vegas. We might as well just take a trip to Vegas. Um, Take a trip to Vegas, come back married. Boom, what's up? And she was low key um on board for it. But then we started thinking about family members and how we kind of wanted them to be there in our moment. What up, Daryl? Um, how we wanted families being in that moment. Um, and I don't know, we wanted family to experience a little bit. So at first we was like, all right, so not a destination. We just gonna, do it at the courthouse. But then at the courthouse, you're gonna have so many people up there. So I'm like, all right. So we was like, all right, let's get a small hall, 100 people, 100. That's it. 100 people, no more, no less. So I called my mom. Hey, mom, look, this what we're gonna do. This how we're gonna run the plan. And she was like, 100 people. She said, boy, that's not even half of your side of the family. And I was like, look, that's how the family ain't paying for it either. So look, this is how we gonna have to run it. This is my way, not my. You know, our way. You know what I'm saying? Um, so then I'm like, man. And after thinking about that, and I ran it by her, we was like, okay, let's let's see what we can do because we did have a budget in mind already, even with just getting a small hall, getting it catered, all that stuff too. So we had a plan in mind. And so I'm like, well, just for, being the Libra that I am, just being the hopeful person, I guess you can call it, hopeful and just, hoping for the best. I was like, let's just check around at a few spots. Let's just see what they're running for. Um, and, we can go from there. So we go to a few spots. The first spot we went to, um, it was just a little bit too small. But we liked it though. And I was like, this is cool, but I'm like, this might be too small. Because I think we was low key like at about 125, 150, something like that. But then, um, so we went to another venue. That venue canceled. Okay, now mind you, this day is rainy. It's a rainy day. Um, I think did we take off that day? I don't know if we took off the day. It was Labor Day. It was something like that. We was touring venues, but again, I think we was off that day. Came in. We was from out of town. Came straight there. Boom, touring venues. And so the first spot we went to, like I said, bro said he was gonna be there and he wasn't there. So it was low key like a blessing in disguise because then we went to the next spot. And the next spot we went to, I'm driving past and I hurried up and looked. I said, I think it said event center right there. She was like, did it? I was like, yeah, hold on, let me. So I hit the U, go back. I said, yeah, that do say event center. I said, I've never seen that before because it's a route that I take to my job every day. And so we pop in and this is a brand new building. So brand new to where they haven't even finished like all the tiles on the floor, the things on the last I forgot what you call it, like just the stuff on the walls, the fixtures and light fixtures, all that stuff was on the wall. Just all the real detail stuff that be on the wall. That wasn't done yet. So, but they showed us online like how it was gonna look, the concept. And we was like, yeah, this might be it. And so because they was just opening, we were gonna be their first clients. And so they was like, yeah, we offering a special right now. If you like it in before this day, it's half off. We said, and how many people can we get in? So I think we got like almost 200 people, something like that. No, it wasn't 200. I lied. It might have been like 170, 175, somewhere around there. It wasn't two, but it was like in the 170s. Um, so that's kind of what we ended up going with. They full bar, catered everything, decorations. We didn't have to worry about none of that. All we had to do was pick out the colors. They literally took care of everything. But shout out to it's called T&L Event Center. T&L. Literally the letter T and the and sign, and then L Event Center. It's out here in Missouri City. It was dope. Dope. We had a nice time. Our colors were cream, emerald green, like gold. Uh, it was a nice wedding though. I'm gonna post some more pictures. I'm gonna post some. Actually, I haven't posted really any wedding pictures, but I'll probably show y'all some love, show a little bit of something, something for the 1 year. But yeah, that's you want your organic conversation. All right. Okay. What are some signs? What are signs someone is, excuse me, taking their past relationship baggage against you? I would One thing I would say is them constantly comparing you, especially if it's things that you're not doing or haven't done really. Um, that would be what I say. They taking their past baggage against you. But sometimes, well, yeah, because sometimes too it could be emotional. It depends, man. Sometimes, ladies, I gotta understand too. Like some men have been through a lot, just like y'all have gone through terrible women. I just want y'all to know that, I mean, just like y'all have gone through terrible men, there has been a lot of terrible women. There's a lot of good men. They didn't ran across the wrong woman for various reasons. I mean, it's not that necessarily y'all fault. Sometimes it's attitude because how y'all were brought up. Sometimes y'all just it could be sassy. Some of y'all just disrespectful. Um, some of y'all may not love the way that y'all think y'all love. You know, some of y'all just go along for the ride. You just do whatever he say. Anytime he asks you a suggestion, is whatever you like, whatever you cool with, I'm cool with, babe. Like a man likes to he likes input from his woman too. You know, um, yeah, we like to make decisions, but we also like to take out into consideration. So definitely could be some of that too. Uh, you can hit the cruise season IG. No, it's gonna be full of messages. Just hit me personally. Hit me personally. So well underscore fitness. Like that. So well underscore fitness. When did I know I was ready to propose? It was like I said, our conversations that we had. Um, I think what really sealed it was just having her here. It's one thing to have conversations with somebody over the phone and you deal with them in increments. Like that's real easy because even when you start to get fed up, maybe and boom, they on their way, or you can go home. You can just leave anytime you want to. But when you got to see somebody day for day, wake up with them, see their habits, whether they're dirty or not, whether they love to clean. Some, people are OCD. They like things in certain spots. The kitchen can never be dirty. They can never be clothes on the floor. They don't like to leave clothes out, that after they've been washed. It's a myriad of things. Some people like to make their bed every single morning. Some people you can't take can't bring your shoes in the house. You got to take your shoes off at the door. Some people are real particular. So learning and growing and getting to know more that day to day stuff. That's all I had to do really to see, just to seal the deal. That's all. But when I was ready though, for sure, ready when just yeah, it's just our conversation, man. Like the fact that I could have conversations with somebody, we can disagree and still learn from each other. You know, that's what really would help me because I'm used to, having conversations and it just always go left out of just feelings or what you mean, assumptions, projections, you know, just for different reasons like that. I'm like, damn, like I don't even mean like that. Like this is all I'm saying, or if you do not, if you may not understand what I'm saying, you give me the chance to correct what I'm saying. Ask me another question so I can confirm or just emphasize or whatever it is for me to help you understand where I'm coming from. Um, so yeah, all that kind of played a part. All right. Lexi says, what are signs someone is holding their past? Oh, I think I answered that already. Why does it take for a woman to walk away for a man to value her presence? Why does it take for a woman to walk away for a man to value her presence? Um, Sometimes we get spoiled. Um, and sometimes he just may not really truly know your value. Um, I don't want to get to the old saying, no good things here is gonna, get all that. But sometimes he just may not really value you like that. Because if he did, in my eyes, if he valued you like that, he wouldn't allow you to walk away. He would fight tooth and nail to make sure that you don't walk away. I mean, that's my only thing. If he's allowing you to walk away and then want to, oh babe, 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 I think that's one of them things for manipulation, like we was talking about the other day. I think that kind of falls in line with that because why would I allow you to do all those things and then I mean, why would I not like communicate? Why would I shut down? Why would I do all the negative things, whatever you're addressing? I'm not doing those things. And then all of a sudden, when you try to walk out the door, I try to plead my case and beg for you to come back. And now I'm listening. Now I want to buy you flowers. Now I want to be thoughtful. Now I'm, changing the tune. So yeah. I mean, a man that will does. Simple as that. Simple as that. What's up, Big Ant? What's up, bro? He said, OT, I have a question. Do you think that the reason why people today are having issues with relationships is because their parents never raised them with the foundation to be in a relationship? Yes. I think that's definitely part of it because you got to think a lot of people are not born into two-parent households. It's just simple as that. So, especially if you're not putting that as a priority, absolutely. The man and the woman. I'm not putting either side above the other because we've both gone through similar situations and like it's crazy that we have to have these not this particular, but it's crazy how the conversations that go on a lot. It's like, well, oh, he was raised by a single mother or she was raised by, single parent household. And a lot of times it's always the single mother, but it's also men out here raising their kids because the mother didn't want to be there. That trauma is, what I'm saying, just as detrimental. It may be a little, may statistic wise a little bit more when the man isn't there, but not having a woman, not having that love, that nurturing, like that affects you in a relationship as well when you get older. That doesn't allow you to really have that emotional side in many instances. Again, not saying that that person can't have, because I do understand a lot of people have been through similar situations and they came out just fine, but that's not the majority. Um, so yeah, because people haven't seen it, because there aren't a lot of, especially social media today, that's what really makes it hard. Like the stuff you see a lot of times is toxic. Healthy relationships are rare if y'all pay attention to it. Most relationships that are healthy, a lot of people seem they look at as boring. That's a boring couple. They not no fun. They not putting their hands on each other. They're not cussing each other out. They're not on live. You know, This what he did to me. It's like, bro, ain't nobody got time for that, bro. Ain't nobody got time for that. That's for kids. We grown. I'm not about to play with you online. Don't play with me online. We can handle things back doors. We can handle things in a cordial way. And it's all love. Like whenever I speak about you, it's gonna be good online. Whenever you speak about me, it's gonna be good. Like we cool. But a lot of us are raised up on social media. You gotta think about that too. Like I'm old enough to know about MySpace and the chat rooms and things like that. A lot of these kids today don't know nothing about that. You don't know nothing about nothing, like the old folks say. Let me see. Hold on. All right, Kathy. She says, I want this man to commit to me, but he acts like he got other plans. But he's trying to keep me on the side. What should I do? Sometimes, okay, I got you, boo. I'm gonna come back to it. Um, Kathy, Kathy. Sometimes I'll be wondering, like, how come, and I'm not trying to be rude, this is with love. Sometimes when y'all type these conversations out, I'll be wondering how y'all don't have an answer by the end of y'all question. I want this man to commit to me. I want this man, said man, to commit to me, but he acts like he got other plans. But he's trying to keep me on the side. What should I do? It sounds like you want to be on the side. If I, to keep it real, you want him to commit to you. You see he got other plans. You know he trying to keep you on the side, but you want him. It's just like a never end loop. So you want him, but he want to keep you on the side. Okay. You see how it go? So if you want him, you're gonna have to be on his side. 1 plus 1 is 2 to me. If you want him, you have to be the side. If not, cut him loose. Cut him loose. Okay. Why do men leave their belongings at your crib, even when you tell them to take it with them? Okay. When you leave for them, they become a stalker. Okay. Then when you leave them for good, they become a stalker. Because some men just crazy. You could have been the only chick, the only woman that he's had, or I mean, it's multiple reasons. The only chick he had, the most prettiest woman he's had. Um, I mean, it could be a reason he's stalking you. No, it's never a reason. I really can't answer for guys like that, but that's somebody you need to really be careful with. If you need to submit a police report, do so. Tell friends, tell families, and get away from him. I'm gonna just leave it like that. And the only reason why he picking up stuff, the only reason why he would leave stuff is so he can have an opportunity to come back. He just want to be able to pop up on you or just say, "Hey, I left this," and you allow him to come over. So cut that off. And he said, "Why would a man propose and then ask for an open relationship?" Well, because he thought he was gonna pull the rug from underneath you. That's why. I don't know why he would do it like that. I mean, I see nothing wrong if that's just what you guys were already into prior to him asking. That's one thing. But if y'all never had that discussion, I don't know why he would do that, honestly, boo. Thinking you a goofy. That's what he assumed. He assumed you goofy enough to go with the flow. So what are you gonna do? Was this specific to you? I would love to know, Annie. A neon? Which neon? We got a neon? You want this one in neon? Mm-mm. That's it. Facts. You're not invested, go find another man. That's it. Oh yeah, I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Is it Salila? Salila, I appreciate you. Yeah, absolutely. I'm always gonna preach marriage. I mean, I've always wanted to be married too, but of course, it just had to be the right woman. Um, and luckily, you know, I was able to be patient. I was able to be patient enough and choose the correct one. Because I think had I jumped the gun too early on a couple situations, I don't know how they'll be looking right now. I don't know where I would be right now. So, yeah, I mean, sometimes being too patient does pay off. Again, like I said, I wouldn't change it. Even with it being a long distance situation, like I said, I wouldn't change it. All right, Lexi said, why do some men, cons- I guess why didn't call it nagging? Call it concern. Why do men call concern nagging when you let a man know your needs aren't being met? Ooh, that's a great question. That's a great question. And I actually covered some of that early in this live stream. I can speak to that personally because I had to kind of learn from that. Um, so fellas, just a little tip. Okay, so now fellas, I'm talking to y'all. Okay, I'm giving you some my advice. This is newlywed advice. Trill, Smooth, Kenny, they're gonna have some different type of advice with you. But my advice, I would say that a lot of us think that we're already working so hard because we assume the things that already need to be covered, if that makes sense. Like as a man, we feel like, okay, I got this duty, that duty, this, you know what I'm saying? I got to make sure the bills are paid, make sure I don't leave the seat down, make sure I don't leave too many dishes in the sink, and make sure, I don't leave my socks over the floor, make sure when I get home, either my shirt is in dirty clothes or in the washing machine. You know what I'm saying? It's like things like that. I think a lot of us constantly try to go through our mind because going back to the conversation earlier, being raised by a single parent, especially if it's like a mother, you used to that, someone always on you about picking this up, picking that up, correct this, correct that, correct that. So that kind of transfers into the relationship at times. And so it's almost like a trigger. And so sometimes it can be that when you are communicating your needs, it can seem like nagging because we're wanting you to look at the long list of things that we're doing right. You know what I'm saying? And I can, like I said, I'll speak to that personally. Like, my wife would say, this is what I need from you. You know, um, I need a little bit more vulnerability out of you. I need a little bit more of empathy out of you. And I'm like, well, but I do this right, 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 right, right. You know what I'm saying? Like, and yes, you are a great man. You are an amazing man. You do, you know what I'm saying? Like she praised me, but however, this right here is what I need, babe. And I'm like, shit. And then you like really get to thinking because just because it's important, just because it's not important to you doesn't mean it's not important to her. What you look at as a level 3, she is at a level 8 as far as the things that she needs or the things that she wants or requires from her man, from you, not just any man, from you. So that's my take on why I think men look at it as nagging. Sometimes I do nag, don't get me wrong. sometimes it is. But in most cases, I will say, most cases, like it is some things that we really have to sit back and digest what y'all saying instead of trying to be Superman and thinking that we already beat you to the questions that you want to ask or the things that you want to solve. We think we already took care of that. So that's what I would say. Appreciate you, Lexi. That was a great question, JC. All right, Monica. Hey, Monica Lynn. Why does he complain about the smallest things and feels like he can say whatever he wants? So I got angry and yelled at him and slammed the door as he left out because I'm tired and selfishness. Oh, I don't know, but you gotta give me a little more. You gotta give me a little more context behind that, okay? Kizzy. So I've been married 24 years, 7 children. He cheated in the beginning. We separated for 1 year and a half, been back since 2012. In the last year, he hasn't been showing much interest. Asked me to move out, but still wants sex. Want me to help pay bills when I work out of town. He never calls or checks on me. Tells me he loves me when I say it first. Can it be fixed? Listen, I ain't been married 24 years, and I could tell you the answer to that. That's what I'm saying. And I love y'all. I really do. And sometimes I just want y'all to just think because y'all do deserve better. Y'all deserve better. But you can't deserve better if you don't allow yourself to deserve better. If you don't allow yourself to be open for it. 7 children. That's what I'm saying, man. I don't be trying to be mean. I swear I love y'all. And that's honestly one reason why I wanted to start this pod a long time ago, like this podcast stuff a long time ago, is because I just wanted to share gems with y'all. Cause y'all, I don't know. Like I said, we'll have kickbacks and we'll be discussing things, and it's like, you let him do what? You put up with what? And it's like, I got so much respect for you. So how can you allow that to happen? You know what I mean? Um, so I will give her a moment of silence. And the ladies that are in similar situations like her, been married 24 years. Listen to this, married 24 years, 7 children. He cheated in the beginning. So you took him back. You took him back after he cheated. First mistake. Y'all been back since 2012. So y'all been back together 12 years. Okay. Back 12 years. In the last year, he hasn't been showing much interest. Number two, like you should already know, if someone does not show interest, what does that mean? I think we are all old enough to know what that means. He asked you to move out, asked you to move out, but still want sex. So that says all he values you as a rag, nut rag. He just wants you to lay down, let him get his rocks off, and he kick you out. You keep pushing. Want me to help pay the bills. When I work out of town, he never calls or checks on me. Don't you want somebody to check on you? Don't you want a man that respects you and that's going to check in on you and that's going to show interest? I don't know. Tells me he loves me, but only when I say it first. Can it be fixed? I mean, I think you got the answer to that, Miss Kizzy. I love you so much, Miss Kizzy, and I pray that you get over your situation in a very healthy way. Um, I pray that you, learn from this. You know, learn from this, and I hope you can grow from this situation. Hopefully, find someone who does show interest and love you and care about you, and that will check on you when you're out of town, and maybe send you some money or DoorDash you some. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that's thoughtful and caring. I really hope you find that. Okay, but you have to set some boundaries. You have to set some rules. Okay. All right. All right. Miss Fuller, what about being there for someone for years and they constantly tell you how they are unhappy but never leave? But you are always the person they run to vent to because you've opened up that alley. And it's plain and simple. Plain and simple. Tell you they're unhappy, never leave, but you always the person they run to. Who can I run to when I need love? That's plain and simple. You allow that to happen. You open that door, let that person use you. Guess what they do? They drain you, drain your emotional energy, fill themselves back up, make dip, skirt. They got a full tank. While you can't sleep. You thinking about, oh, are they okay? I hope they family's okay. I hope and that person has drained all your energy and gonna use it to somebody else. Dracula. They're gonna suck your blood, suck your energy, suck your love, suck that heart that you have. They gonna take some of that. They don't care. A receiver don't care who give it. Pause. No, but they don't care, man. They just want to take. That's all they're gonna do. That's all they ever gonna do. And especially if you continually answering the phone calls, text messages, words of advice, notes, whatever you sending to support them. Come on now. Okay. What's up, Cassandra? She said, I have so many questions and the craziest mess going on, but I can't comment on here. I don't want anyone that knows me to see my questions. Can I inbox you and you comment here? Well, they gonna know after a while after I check my phone. But what you can do is, Cassandra, if you still on email, hit me up personally. Um, Cassandra, hit me up personally and I we'll answer it on the next live, or we can put it on the pod, one of the two. But send that to me, _fitness. Send that to me, and we'll take care of it. Boom. All right. We'll take care of it. We'll take care of it. And by the way, too, if anybody has some merch that they are trying to promote, hit my line. We could talk for a fee. I'm just saying. The window is open. If y'all got a line, clothing line, if y'all are an artist, um, you know, I could use this segment to do that as well. Organic conversations. I could play some music for somebody and let the people be the judge. If it's trash, it's trash. I'm just saying. But now I'm open. A poem, I think that'd be dope too. Yeah, if anybody got some poetry, some poets, and y'all wanna get some stuff off, send it my way for a fee. We will discuss that. All right, V. What is the point of an ex-boyfriend contacting you throughout the years, 8 years to be exact? We don't meet up. I'm still doing my thing. Majority of the time, I don't even respond back. He just trying to check the temp. That's it. That's just a guy trying to check the temp. Y'all were together for a minute, probably. Y'all may have a kid together or something. And so all he's trying to do is, see if it's still there. But see, the key thing that I want everybody to pay attention to, she said, majority of the time I don't respond back. And that's the problem. Because with men like him, it's all you're giving him that hope, that window of hope. Like eventually she gonna respond back. As long as I bug her just enough, I bug her just enough, but just enough. Eventually she gonna respond. Or especially if you don't have him blocked. If you don't have him blocked, then he's like, there's no way, I can reach him unless he start doing email or something crazy, start doing other phone numbers or something like that. But I mean, I think he would get the point eventually if you continue to ignore him. But you have to continue ignoring him and don't respond back at all. That's for all y'all ladies. If it's somebody that you don't want to talk to, don't what you want. That's a wide open door. That sounds like I miss you to a crazy man like that. To a man that's trying to get back in the door. That's what that sounds like to him. I miss you. When you hit him with that what you want. It's like, oh, you get on my nerves, but if you act right, I still might get you something. That's what it sounds like. I'm just letting y'all know. I'm just telling y'all. Just telling y'all. That's what it appears. That's how I come off to guys like that because they're not going to give up. They are not going to give up until you really just completely cut them off. Kenyatta Jordan. What do you suggest I do to co-parent with someone who is mentally draining and don't seem to want to be a father? 1 minute he does for our son, the next he said, "Don't ask me for shit." There you go, right there. I think in that situation, you kind of have to let them, be who they are. Unfortunately, you definitely don't want the child, blur it a little bit. You definitely don't want the child seeing that. I definitely wouldn't suggest having a child be around that. However, that child does need to see y'all can co-parent in some type of way. So if he's not gonna give you shit, what you gonna do about it? I mean, is he on child support? Can you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's different aspects that I would kind of like to know about to give you a better option as far as exact things to do. But it sounds like if he wishy washy, then it sounds like you may have to pull yourself up by the bootstraps and just handle it how you can. When he wants to be around, then he will be around. That's what it sounds like. So you just got to kind of take your wins when you can, take your relief when you can, have backup plans. You need babysitters to live life and do other things, but you got to control what you can control. Okay, control what you can control. It's not going to be as stressful when you control what you can control. And then he going to see you no longer care, and that's when you're going to see the real him. Because right now he feel like he got you under his thumb. You know what I mean? 1 minute he doesn't even don't ask me for shit. Yeah, he's just trying to be controlling. And he also might not have the money. He say don't ask me for shit because he can get y'all his money. He ain't got no more. He just don't want to say it. Did your wife move from Dallas? Yeah. She moved down here. She took that big jump and moved down here. My baby. What are the signs when a man? What are the signs when a man says he requires a woman to cook? Is that a form of a man that wants to be taken care of? No, it's not a form of a man want to be taken care of. I like a woman to cook, and that's been one of my requirements since I was like 18, 19. Ask my boy Will. My boy Will's my neighbor. I grew up with him next door. That was one of my requirements when I was 18, 19 years old. I asked him, was I crazy? Was I crazy for thinking that? You know? But no, I think like with men, like that's a form of like appreciation. And that's somewhat, I don't want to say intimacy, but that's kind of what we look at and what we appreciate. A woman that is just making sure that I'm fed. Like you care about me enough to make sure I'm fed, you know, and at the meal is thoughtful. Don't be just throwing no hot dogs together, no nachos, no rotel. No, we want a meal. And I'm not saying it got to be a 5-star meal. I'm not saying it got to be steak, but something other than Cajun pasta, you know, fettuccine. Please make something other than that. Get creative. TikTok. You got plenty of TikToks. Got plenty of what's the other app? Pinterest. Plenty of stuff on there. All you gotta do is follow the instructions. It's not hard. Follow the instructions. I don't think what he's asking for is egregious at all. He just wants you to cook him a meal, serve him a plate by his woman. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I got. What else I got? I'm gonna get a few more. I'm gonna get a few more. We're gonna be out of here. Hey, who is this love God? Have y'all already timed that person out? Who is that? It ain't. Hope it ain't no spam. Okay, here we go. All right, Annie back. So we briefly talked about an open relationship before he proposed. Okay, so see that's key. Briefly, but not in detail. How he treated me has changed. I'm going to have to leave. Well, there you go. Yeah, you probably gonna have to leave because it sounds like it's something that he wanted, or that maybe he wants to try out, and y'all didn't flush everything out. You know, so it clearly sounds like that's not something that you want. Otherwise, you would have probably left a long time ago. So, so yeah, I think you found the right path, Annie. Facts. JC, hey, you got to change that, bro. You can't be that. You can't be that. You can't be the emotional baggage for people, dog. Not everybody. Not a lot. Like I get some people, it's cool, you know. Every now and then it's cool, but every week, every other week, and you got multiple people coming at you, heavy, like heavy stuff too. And I already know. I already know. Sometimes, as much as I love people, you got to cut the conversation short, especially like when they be going through stuff, because some people be really going through it, and you can't help everybody, bro. If you help everybody, you're gonna end up broke. You're gonna be end up broken. You're gonna not have the emotions that you want. You're gonna be wondering why you always in a bad mood. You can't sleep. That's because you're giving everybody all of your energy. You're giving everybody all of your time. You're giving them all your talents. You're giving them all your thoughts. You give them just everything. You know what I'm saying? And you rationing out to this person, that person, that person. No, man. You need time to recharge. You need time to be fresh. You need time to be yourself. You know what I mean? So yeah, JC, I would step back a little bit if you can, bro. It's for real, for real. All right. I'm like I said, just a couple more. And we're gonna be out of here. Cause I gotta start my anniversary weekend. That's how much I love y'all. That's how much my baby love y'all. How about that? That's how much my baby loves me, knowing how much I love y'all. Y'all, it all work together. You know what I'm saying? She gave me the green light. I said, babe, I got some little free time. Do you mind if I go shoot the pod or just do something, create some content, go live, anything? She's like, babe, do your thing. You know, we got this weekend. I know we got this weekend. I know we got this weekend. But yeah, do I believe? I'm gonna tell y'all what we got planned too in a second. That's gonna be at the end that we're gonna wrap up. Do you believe in astrology when it comes to finding your spouse? No, I don't. I have read, quite a few astrology things. My wife is also a Libra. Our birthdays are a week apart, so that is it's a very, very interesting dynamic. If I had to say so myself, but I love it. Honestly, I even even a long time ago, I was like, I wonder if I could marry a Libra. And see what I did, but I'm not too big on it. I mean, I think there's some that are coincidences. Some people that I know kind of fit the scope of what the astrology stuff be saying. I may feel I'm balanced and you know have a big personality, but I'm also can be shut off to myself. What I mean, it's a lot different. They say Libras lie. I definitely used to be a liar. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was the biggest of liars. They say lying ass Libras. I don't know, not everything. I mean, some stuff is like funny, and some people may have it as a part of them, but I mean, I don't read too much into it. Um, I think it's interesting though, and it's good for conversation to me. But I haven't fully delved into all that stuff, so that's why I can't say I really believe it. When the sun's setting and the moon rising, and they drinking Gatorade in the back with lemonade and all that stuff. Facts, JC. Just hey, I just had to say something real quick. It was just real quick, just for a second. Because I take Larry very personal. I found Larry like just before the pandemic, so he got me through the pandemic. I wasn't all the way me, but he got me right. So I just vouched for my dog. But yeah, it's always love, JC. You've been supporting since day one. What are some signs that a man want to be taken care of? I mean, he don't do shit around the house. There's a difference between like taking care of and then like a man just wanting you to like cater to him sometimes. Because sometimes we don't know how to ask for y'all to cater to us. I mean, I think it's nothing wrong with you catering to your man, ladies. Um, does he do the same for you? I would ask as well. Don't don't do it only because like he asked. Also, have a conversation like wonder what is it he trying to what is it he trying to do? Taken care of though, he's sitting on his ass, he playing video games all day. The game PlayStation smoking hot. Y'all know what we talk about. He not looking for a job. He lying about going to interviews. He not contributing in any type of way to the house. Like that's a man that don't want to be taken care of. All right, one more. We gonna get out of here. Miss Chosen Queen says, hold on. Miss Chosen Queen says, how can I create a safe space for my man to ask him what's wrong? Is he okay? So I can get an answer versus him always saying I'm okay. Mm. How can you create that safe space? Um, it's not just one answer, but um, it's you creating that. You have to create that space, and that can look many different ways. But at first, just it's a conversation. I think sometimes you have to maybe revisit things that y'all have talked about in the past. What are some things that you've said? What are some things that y'all been through? Have you ever treated him in a negative fashion? Have you disrespected him? Have you ever called him out his name? All that kind of plays a part into if he would, be vulnerable with you or even allow you to create that safe space. Because sometimes you'll create that safe space and well, you think you create the safe space, but you didn't because he still got his guards up. You know what I mean? So I think it's just trying to get him as comfortable as you can. Also, maybe exposing yourself, you know, like, hey, this is some things that I've been struggling with or going through. I would like to talk to you about it. Or hey, I would like for both of us to write these, things down that's been bothering us, and I would love for us to just talk about this uninterrupted, just me and you, whatever got to be over a glass of wine, just light some candles, have it smelling good, have a, I think sometimes the environment plays a big part. Um, and yeah, like the other lady, she asking about cooking for the man. Maybe cook for him. He might if you don't cook on a regular, he definitely gonna think something wrong. So he already gonna be on the fence and have a red flag. So I would definitely say if you don't cook for that man on a regular and all of a sudden you trying to cook for him just to have a conversation, he gonna know something up. And his defense is gonna be up. Red flags gonna be up, just so you know. Um but no, I would say do something nice for him. Try to soften him up a little bit, just like ladies, just like y'all. Y'all, we in order to come to y'all about some crucial conversations, we have to take y'all out to eat or on a date or buy you a charm bracelet. Maybe your favorite ice cream, buy you some flowers. We gotta cater to you a little bit in some ways um that you like. So in order to get the results that we want. So you gotta lower the defense mechanism a little bit. So whatever that's like for your man. Um, if you play video games, jump on a video game with them, asking them to learn how to play, and then maybe, later on slide it, hey babe, so I was just wondering, when you say you're okay, are you really okay? Or do you just be saying that because da da da? Because I care about you. I love you. I'm concerned about you. I really want you to know that you can come to me about these things. I don't want you holding all these things in. So I just want you to know the floor is open whenever you want to have a conversation. And I would love to have that conversation. I would love to get to know you more. I would love to see that side of you. Again, I'm going through a similar situation. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of men are guilty of just saying, okay, I'm good. I'm good, baby. I'm good. I'm good. Um, but kind of a pivot to that or a bullet point to that is sometimes when we go through things, we don't want to put more pressure on y'all. A lot of times y'all come to us about things that's going on in your life, is that's whether it's making you mad, whether it's pressure, whether it's stress or things like that. Y'all are coming to us a lot of times. So y'all look to us as to be the listeners, maybe problem solver at times. So we don't want to then you didn't gave us this list of things that's not going right in your life. And now I tell you, as your leader, as your man, as your protector, as the person that you look to as, the backbone. And I can't tell you necessarily that I'm struggling. I can tell you, but it's difficult to tell you I might be struggling or I might be going through X situation. So it's not until he gets comfortable with you for him to really tell you everything that you may want. Because I think he still, even when that situation does come and he starts telling you a little bit, he still may not tell you everything until he fully gets comfortable. Again, a lot of men just haven't had a safe space to begin with in the first place because he's sassy, too emotional, you acting like a woman, or it's been so many things like that when he just want to be vulnerable, open up to you and let you know his feelings. We have feelings too. And then you wonder why he a robot. It's because the last several times that he's tried to open up to you, you use it hit against him, you called him a baby, whatever. So mama's boy, it could be anything. It's been so many different things that's been said to men. And honestly, a lot of men don't talk about it enough as they should. But and some men tend to put up with it longer than they should. And that's unfortunate. We gotta do a whole lot better than that because we gotta deal with somebody that loves us, that wants to be with us, and that wouldn't use our feelings as a weapon. At the end of the day, that's just what we got to do. And we as men have to also stand on it too, fellas. Stand on it. Okay. We got to stand on our word when we say we gone or we're not tolerating disrespect, all that stuff. We got to stand on that. So, but again, I appreciate y'all for the night, man. It's been a great Friday night, great session, great questions. I'll be back again next week. I can pull up next week. I can pull up next Friday. So y'all pull up with questions, sports stuff, whatever. Whatever y'all trying to do, I'm with it. So y'all just let me know, man. I would like for Friday to be the set date, but we're gonna be traveling a lot, and I do a lot with work on Friday sometimes with different events. But we're gonna pull some off. We're gonna make it work. It's gonna be organic conversations again, so it could be any day of the week. Just pull up and just start having, conversations, start having questions. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. Make sure y'all download the app. If you don't want to get on the app, we also got Patreon. Don't forget about that. So either one, Patreon, the app. Really want y'all to go to the app because you get everything. Um, they also get the episodes first. There are several episodes that are not out but it's on the app. Um, like Hitman episode. Um, it's a few more on there, and we got some more content coming too. So yeah, man. So like always, man, it's been a pleasure. Thank y'all for everything that y'all do. Thank y'all for the support. Thank y'all for the love. And you know what I'm saying? Until next time, baby. I'm out.